Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.
So regardless, I mean, I didn't exactly say it all like that, but it was nice.
You did it? Oh my God.
I came close, to be honest. But it is so nice to have like a place where I've learned principles. I definitely didn't grow up with them, right? But like a place where it's like there's a spine, there's a backbone of principles that I enjoy adhering to today. I didn't, when I came in, it was rebel against everyone. And then you find out this is the easier, softer way. And it feels like freedom to have this spine of principles because I want to live up to them. So go ahead and have your company stuff, but it doesn't make how I conduct myself any different than how I would conduct myself if I wasn't here. And that's a miracle.
Yeah, that's what I love about program is it's so wide and roomy and it applies to everything. I can apply it in all areas of my life, even just this thing of spirituality, it's like program doesn't interfere with any established religion or any other belief system. It just is broad and roomy for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so open. It doesn't say, it says be quick to see where religious people are right. Be quick to see where doctors are right. That was the thing, like it talks about in 6 and 7. This is what separates the men from the boys. Like all of these, concepts of, hey, like we may not have all the answers. That humility just brings about, to me, such a sense of trust.
So I guess the thing that's coming up for me around this is I'm very into 12 since we're now however many days into the 12th month of our year. And it's curious because all the like Stoic, all those like other kind of books are very into AA is very into step 12 and tradition 12. And then all these other like spiritual, like Stoic kind of type things, philosophy things that I also read are very into like, and death is inevitable, and death is a motivator. But the thing that's coming up for me is I'm going to just read the 12 principles that people, I guess, say. It's 1 is honesty, acceptance, 2 is hope, 3 is surrender, 4 is courage, 5 is integrity, 6 willingness, 7 is humility, 8 is love, 9 responsibility, 10 is discipline, 11 is awareness, 12 is service. And I don't agree with all of those, but I don't want to go into that. I think that the thing that's coming up, I guess, is service. And, I remember long-timers used to say, just whatever you put in front of your program, you'll likely lose. And that, if I just focus on this as my primary purpose, all of the other things will fall in their place. I mean, obviously for me, it's like, yes, and I also need to take action on those other things. I can't just sit and just do one thing, stay sober, not pick up a drink and think that other things are just going to magically happen. Like I need to apply for a job. I need to update my resume. I need to take those actions, But I'm at a point where I'm like, is this true? I'm like questioning it. I know this to be true. And however many years I've been around where, yes, all of the other stuff, like you said, the thing that was so big, right, is looking back, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that, and it's just like, it's like a chuckle. It's not like this, like, it's not the headline,
It's a blip on the radar.
Yes. And I was chatting with a friend yesterday, and it's that part in 11 where, when I felt the hand was heavy, new lessons were learned, new courage, that whole piece. I'll pull it up if I could find it. I have it highlighted. But it's like, that's the piece that I forget about, because it's like, I want to go back and think like, oh, no. But for this, it's going to be a different situation,
Right.
versus like, no, it's just to delve deeper, into, here it's here. He will also report that out of every season of grief or suffering, when the hand of God seemed heavy or even unjust, new lessons for living were learned, new resources of courage were uncovered. And then finally, inescapably, the conviction, God works in mysterious ways. But like, yeah, that's where I am today, where I'm now questioning, even though I have all these experiences, which for me is normal. It's my humanness,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense. And I just heard a really good one in a meeting that I was at where a woman was talking about someone in her family who's 23 years old who's up for this really big, prestigious position. And the whole family was invested in her getting it, and she didn't get it. And all the family, everyone's upset. She's upset. But my friend was like, oh, at 23 years old, like, you're not supposed to get that. Like, you're probably going to get more depth and more, personality and more things that people will like about you by not getting what you want at 23 years old. And I just was like, yes, that is that future perspective, like how annoying are the people that get everything they want every single time, and how unsatisfied. Like, I know plenty of people, I live in LA, that can buy what they want, they can do what they want, and they're chasing something because, the outside does not heal the inside.
Ugh. So good. Yeah.
So good.
I've been looking, there's a lot of newcomers. And as we know, this time of the year it's almost like, it's like recruiting season, or it's like, pledge, rush week or whatever, the frat system, where there's just like a lot of people, like there are so many people. I was just in the meeting, there were probably at least 6 people about to celebrate a year this month,
Wow.
And I was like I was like, wow, I get that, my anniversary and birthday is not around, the holidays, but I get, that the intensity around family or whatever those things are, it can also help assist with someone's bottom,
Yeah. We got bottoms galore in December.
Yeah.
It's a bottomless AA.
Bottomless AA. Bottomless
December and January. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here they come. We got a whole new round of freshmen every single time.
Oh my goodness.
And if you put money on the people that were going to make it, you'd be wrong every time.
Totally wrong. And that's what I keep reminding myself, because I have a story of when people get things too quickly, it sometimes can impact them actually staying. And that's also based on my experience. Well, what I know 100 is my experience is that I didn't, move back towards people, places, and things immediately when I got the career back. When you know what I mean? It all took a lot longer than I wanted it to. Like I got a sober job at 2.5 years. I got the career back at 3.5 years, but I also, as a baby step, I wasn't like moving back into, the city or wherever I wanted to be. It was very slow. It was like 3 years later that I moved back in. It's been very, very slow. And in hindsight, it's like, oh, it was totally perfect. Now, that's my experience. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's someone else's experience, although I can't help but notice there's a different energy when I see these cash and prizes, which people think are the promises, they're not the promises. There are certain rewards, I think, of living a sober lifestyle, but is it even a reward? It's like this shit just happens, right? Like I'm not wasting money and I'm not focusing all my energy on recovering from blackouts and brownouts and all these other things. And so I can actually tune into other things, So I don't know. Do you have thoughts and feelings around this, what I'm sharing?
Yeah, it's like what you just read. When the hand seemed heavy or unjust, new lessons for living were learned.
Mm.
And that's what applying the principles in all of our affairs to me means, is that when because it applies to the joy as well. And that's the thing I never understood. I remember going to a meeting, and I must have had like 4 years, and I think everybody that was in that room, it was like a women's meeting, and everybody had around that time. And this newcomer comes in who has maybe 4 months, and she starts to share. And I'm like, all right, well, time to see what's going on in my head, because what's the newcomer going to say, right? Like we're all pretty seasoned with our 4 years. And she says, I know I'm not supposed to go into the low lows, but I didn't understand that I'm not supposed to go into the high highs. And I like sit up in my chair and like, what? Like, I didn't realize we weren't supposed to like snort the high highs like cocaine. Are you kidding me? I was just trying to stay away from pain or despair. You mean I'm not supposed to get high off the good times as well? I need to apply these principles in all my affairs so that when things do go my way, there's a certain amount of, okay, if so, maybe who cares, like it's that farmer story, like we just don't know what's good and what's bad and where the lesson's coming and what we've called to us. That's another thing I've gotten experience in, to not feel like a victim anymore. It's like, I've called this lesson, and that's how today I'm able to say thank you when it shows up. I need that pause to feel the feeling so it's not toxic positivity.
Yeah.
But I do get to say, after I've done that, is thank you. I called this to me. And what ride are we going to go on? Is it going to end up with the bows and roses this time? Or are we going down in the rut and we're going to try and decorate it? Like, where are we going?
Can you say a little more about this call? I've called this. So it's not like it's the other side, I guess, is the like, why is this happening to me? It's like the victim.
Yeah. And it is tricky, I have to say, because I'll get real mad at someone if they're like, I know your kid is in the hospital, but on some level, you've called this to you. Okay, no, like I want to slap a bitch. But I'm talking about, all I can talk about is this current experience and how I'm applying it, which it feels a lot like Groundhog Day. It feels like I've lived this situation with different players and different names and different faces. And you know how in Groundhog Day at first he's like really selfish and he's stealing the money and he's like doing all the selfish, self-centered things. And as it goes along, he just finally gives up. And then he starts doing the things for other people and like learning to play the piano and like helping someone across the street. And I'm not saying that I need to devote my life to service. That's not where I'm going with this, but just that now is the first time I'm walking through this situation. And I have a sense of, like we were talking about, principles, integrity. I've behaved in a way where my side of the street is clean in this Groundhog Day. And so maybe this lesson was supposed to come a bunch of times so I got to experience a self-worth of like, yeah, sure, these things happen. It's human. You are not a bad person when you go through a difficult time at work. Lots of people do.
Yeah. I almost think I need to rewatch Groundhog's Day. Someone was sharing, in one of my meetings, the prayer that the meeting actually says is the set aside prayer, So I could be open to having a new experience. And, they had shared about having a new experience even in sobriety, because sobriety can be the Groundhog's Day as well. Where we've talked about the structure, the implemented structure is, for me, been the straitjacket where, it's the checklist and I'm not connected to anything. I'm like, oh, did my meditation. Oh, pray the thing. Oh, made my bed. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like made a meeting. Oh, said hello to a newcomer. It's like, yeah, but it's like I'm not present. I'm just checking off the list.
Analytical.
Yeah. Oh, I love this topic. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you.
As you curtsy.
Yes.
So we're
speaking of humility.
So
Thank
humble.
you. Thank you very much.
So we're at the final 5. Do you want me to ask a question? Do you have a question?
I'll go. And since it's my topic, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna do a better job at this.
This is full service.
Yeah, totally. Sam, just relax. Put on your spiritual hat and answer this question for me, which is applying the principles in all of our affairs. Let me think of your question for you. It is applying the principles. When was the last time that you recognized you needed to apply the principle in the moment, but just were like, no, I'm not doing it?
I love this question. And for me, the principle is always honesty, because I'm used to not being okay, or me wanting to be okay based on what other people think or whatever, trying to still manage, people's perception of me. And it's always honesty and matching my insides to my outsides, really truly sharing what's going on, with time. I think for me and my brain is, I don't need to talk about that, or, I got this, and those are the things for me that happens at 10 is there's something I kept to myself, which I should share with someone, that for me is the rigorous honesty. So for me, a lot of the principle, it's always honesty and where am I not sharing and being truly honest. And where I'm not being truly honest is where I don't feel safe some of the time. Some of the time that will be an excuse. And what's really there is because I am afraid of what people are going to think of me. Wow. But it's in the vulnerability that I actually get and feel and find the connection that I'm looking for.
Yeah. And our ego tells us, don't go that way. No, that's not the solution. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That was very honest and vulnerable right there.
How about you?
I have been in the moment where I'm gossiping. And this isn't like my big one or anything, but not in the recent past. I have been having a conversation with someone where I know that we're gossiping too much to where it could be harmful. And the thought has come into my head like, okay, stop. This is not going to be beneficial. And then going, I'll pay. I'll deal with that rapacious creditor later. I'm gonna keep going. So that's one where it's been like today. The nice thing about having so much sobriety is it does come in. The solution comes in, and sometimes I still go, yeah, I could apply the principles in all my affairs here, but maybe next time.
Not right now.
I'm taking a hiatus.
I love that. There's the awareness and no action right now. Just the awareness. It's fine.
I knew when I was first sober, I'm like, I just want to be aware. I just wish the thought would come in. And then it comes in. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I got this.
Still having a little too much fun. That's okay.
Exactly.
But I love how gentle that is, right? It's not the cracking the whip of, oh, I shouldn't be. It's like so gentle, so loving. It's the awareness. And it's like, not today, maybe later, you know?
And also the awareness that I'm not hurting one single person besides myself. Like today, I know that. I know that if I do go down that pathway that I was just given a gut intuition about, that when the time comes to pony up, it's because it's only going to affect me. It's only going to be my little emotional hangover. No one to blame.
Oh, so good.
So good. All right. I'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you in the next
Call
one.
your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you sponsor. Call you
Bitch, call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call your
New episode tomorrow. Send us an email bcysponsor@gmail.com.